Back in the 10th, Westwood, left hand below right now.
And as the greens dry out, these become very tricky. A bit crusty. The high spots dry out and the low spots get a little almost greener looking.
Birdie, long birdie attempt from Monty. Slow putt up the slope. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
A good putt from Anders Hansen, who beat Justin Rose last year in a playoff. And we hear that Luke Donald missed his little putt, so he slips back.
This is this quick putt that Ken was talking about for Nicholas Fast. Back of the 11th green. So important to judge the pace well here. Monty's just tapped in for his par. Not quite as quick as Fast might have thought, and there's a little bit left. 2 under par at the moment, Fast. Comfortably the best of this trio. Richard Sterney 5 over and Monty 3 over. Scoring is not good this afternoon. He knows what it takes to win tournaments, Nicholas Fast, but perhaps streaky.
After a long wait, Justin Rose's tee shot at the 10th. Down the left, which side of the hump is going to hit? Oh, the wrong side. Oh, that's a horrible spot. Funny form recently. He withdrew from Hilton Head and missed the cut in the next 2 tournaments. Justin Rose last year, he was Mr. Consistency Plus. But just hasn't found his A game so far this season. Took a long break in the winter, 10 weeks off, worked on his fitness and played some good golf, but not quite as good as last year. So easy to lose the breeze on this golf course, and it doesn't take too much with a fine margin where the pins are cut to miss club. Jose Maria's had a moment. That's the way to do it. This could be good. Go on. Not bad.
Just 184 yards, playing 177 today. The pin position often sneaked into that front left corner today, just about where that pin is there. And as Ken was saying, that big yellow arrow at the back can come in off that shoulder on the left-hand side. That bunker front right and the heather around it. Very dangerous indeed, but not the trickiest of holes in the course. Judging the wind, though, can be the real art in this one.
You'll be glad to get going again when you've been hanging around on the tee, although it's quite a nice day to be sitting around in the shadows. You can just break the momentum of a round, lose your concentration. Cabrera always likes to get on with it as well.
The 14th, par 3, up the hill, Marcel Siem. in just on that back level today. And not there. Oh. Hey, where's that off to? Into the stand. We'll see how he deals with that shortly. Paul McGinley, a long time ago now, he finished with his 65, a new course record around this rejigged West course. 2 shots clear of Marcus Fraser, a more recent finisher. Great round from McGinley. A lot of players under par, not so many this afternoon. David Howell, good to see him back to a little bit of form with his 70. And now the par 5s, which Monty, I'm sure, will be targeting. Just don't snap it now. There you go. A little hitch kick. Happy with that one. See Monty right down the middle of the fairway. Is that pans back? We'll see a ditch coming in there on the right-hand side. Left as the players play it, and it comes in on the right as well, on the other side. But it was far too narrow almost for many of the players, and they had a little bit of a gripe, and it's been shunted back.
Hands very close together, nice neat grip. I think that was a little 3-wood, a little easier to shape the ball from right to left, and if you do push it you probably won't reach the little ditch. But down the right hand side gives a good view of the green.
All sorts of problems here for Justin Rose and the gang, and Peter Alliss is with us once more.
Thank you, Andrew, thank you. And just in time to see Justin Rose trying to fiddle one up from here, which is not the... Well, it's quite attractive in the trees there, but it's not the best place to hit your tee shot. 1 over par, and scoring this afternoon, as Andrew and Ken have been telling you, for some reason there's a little bit of wind and it's getting a little cloudy. The temperature may have dropped, but really nothing too dramatic. But the course is very different to one we usually see. Fiery fairways, a hint of brown, a brown look about the greens, almost like late July after a hot spell. And they're not getting the ball quite so near the hole as they would like, and they don't seem to be able to adapt at this moment to make it all work. Played it well from that loose sort of pine needles and stuff that accumulates under the trees. It's all a struggle, Ken.
Yeah, I think you got it spot on. This green is drying out. Hard to get the ball close to the flag, and then when you do, putts not quite as reliable as they often are here. So scoring tough. Nicholas Fast, Robert Karlsson under par in the afternoon starters, but very few others. Marcel Seam, of course.
Luke Donald, one of the really most delightful players to watch. Makes it all look very simple and easy. In a way, rather reminiscent for you older golfers of Peter Thompson. A different, slightly different tempo and rhythm, but that gentle sort of swing that seemed to repeat quite beautifully.
Well, Tharbel for his 2 at the 10th. He could do with it. Yes, yes, nicely done. Back to 3 over. Apart from the 15th on the back 9, the rest really do offer birdie chances if you hit some half-decent shots. 3 par 5s. What a man. 2-time Masters champion, 23 European Tour titles. One of the greatest Ryder Cup players ever. Heart of a lion. And a thoroughly decent egg.
You're an old wordsmith, you are, Ken. Cabrera now for a 2. He's 3 over as well. Still 3 over. Something for you to try at the weekend. Something for the weekend, sir.
Oh, Marcel Seaman, you'll enjoy these next hour watching him, because he's all over the place. Whoop, up she goes. Where's that one gone?
Not bad. I thought it might have ended up just short of Camberley, but it's all right. Took a huge swing at that. Back to Justin Rose. The years ticked by. A few centenaries this year, which we'll tell you about over the next few days. Good old clubs coming up for 100. Denbury in North Wales. Roger Beadle's the captain there. Selsey down in Sussex, where Max Faulkner used to learn his trade, or did learn his trade. Now Rose to stop himself going 2 over par. No good thumping the green, son. You missed it by 25 yards. That's why you're taking 4. Don't have to be Einstein to work it out, Ken. It's very hard not to sound as if you're being terribly unkind, but under these conditions, it just calls for some straight hitting and some sound, sensible thinking, and you can't just fire the ball into the greens and expect them to stop stone dead.
Yeah, they've got to be patient, that's for certain. And last year, Justin Rose had a splendiferous season, won the European Order of Merit, and Shane caught up with him.
What's your main hobby?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't have a specific. I've tried to get into a few other things. I've tried to get into a little bit of tennis. You know, Kate's really enjoying her tennis, so for me just to knock balls with her is a lot of fun. And obviously then you got playing. I want to start playing the guitar. Just little things, you know, just to get your mind away from grinding and golf. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're out on the golf course, are you really able to not think of any swing thoughts? I mean, it's obviously an ambition of golfers to be able to do that, the higher the level is, but you know, how realistic is it?
No, I think I feel it's important to come out here with swing thoughts, but simple ones. Stuff, you know, I think a swing thought helps you have an objective and a focused mind. You know, if you come out here with nothing, it's, you know, that's when you get distracted, I think. So, but I think the key is to have one swing thought that doesn't change, and you can carry it through the week and sometimes a month, and sometimes, you know, as it was last year, most of the year. So that keeps things simple and it keeps it easy. I think the more simple your swing keys and your thoughts are, the more reliable under pressure.
Well, sounds easy enough. Now here's Fast. Very deliberate player. A good man to have in your team, actually, even if it's just for the annoyance factor. Come on, in a bit, turn a bit, no. Well, better than in the rough grass short of the bunker. Now, Colin.
Yeah, Colin hit a very nice tee shot, outdrove Nicholas Fast by a good 15 yards. So he's only got 232 yards remaining, a little bit of breeze helping as well. Needs to get things going, and this 12th hole is certainly a hole you can do that.
Well, the familiar swing, it hasn't changed at all since, well, we saw him way back. Oh, it's a cracking shot. Steady. That's the way it's going, you see. So instead of having a 6 or 7 footer for a birdie, one hard bounce through the back of the green, the swing hasn't changed since we saw him in the Walker Cup at Sunningdale all those years ago. They just don't end up so near as they used to.
Down the slope for Luke Donald. Looks, oh, it's just over borrowed. Great effort.
Seam. At the 14th. Over the green in one, tried to play a magical shot. Smashed it hard and high, too hard. It's a bogey 4. He's played some good stuff, Marcel Siem, Ken, hasn't he, over the last 4 or 5 years, but no consistency.
Yeah, he's up and down. Good spot, good chance from this angle. Lee Westwood up the slope. Yes, well done. If it comes down to ball striking this week, Lee Westwood's going to be in the first 3, that's for certain. Just needs to make a few putts, and that was a goodie. 2 over. Paul McGinley, round in 65, leads by 2.
Well, that'll make Lee feel a little bit better. Birdie in the 11th. Par 5 to come. Wind off the left-hand side, and they've just widened the fairway by bringing the left-hand stream back into the rough. So a bigger target this year for the players.
And that's what you call a spanker. Perfect tee shot.
Interesting hole, the 12th. There used to be a couple of extra fir trees standing up in the middle. They got blown down years ago. You can see the fairway curls around. Not a lot of rough on the right. Thickish grass down the left. The little ditch. See the ditch that goes across? Well, they thought it was too difficult, so they filled half of it in. So little stream in front of the green, bunker right. Nothing down this end has changed very much. You can be out of bounds some 6, 7, 8 yards left and at the back of the green, so you don't want to be too fiery with your second shot. Here's Hansen.
Wind off that left-hand side, doesn't want to hit it in the water.
That was a horrendous swing. Good God, what happened there? He must have got caught up in his braces or something or other. That was extraordinary. You might see a swing like that off the first tee at Glen Eagles when there's a company day going on, but that's more like it, isn't it? Mind you, his swing always looks the same. That's gone left, I fancy, is it? Or,
He needs a bit of luck.
you know, there's 80 yards, and that's awful drive. I'm sorry, but that is appalling driving on a calm day. 75 yards, but let's have a look at Hansen. Something happened to him. Something happened to them. Everything looks nice here, doesn't it? He's going to try and knock it down over that lone tree. Doesn't look too bad there. And then, I don't know what happened there. Whether his left leg got caught up in his whatnots, but I don't know. Something very weird happened there. Caught it off. I don't know where he hit it off.
Right, hold his bunker shot at the 10th. Nicholas Fast. Another one at the 12th here. Ooh. Well, okay, have that for a birdie.
Back to the 11th, looking down Olathabel, and John Hawkes was there. Fearless John. Fearless John has gone into the woods looking for a monster, a bird of prey or something, but we'll have a look at Ollie. Put on a bit of weight, Ken, hasn't he? I'm surprised. It always surprises me when people put on a bit of weight when they tiptoe into the 40s, but a little stockier now than he was a few years ago.
How did you avoid doing it?
It's all down to me, self-denial, of course, but that's all you can do. But I've been watching this fella for so many years. He won the boys, the youth, the amateur, then turned pro. Amazing early career he had in golf, and bite. Yes. Apart from spells with poor, never been a great driver of the ball. Always battled away. Went to see his great teaching and friend John Jacobs, who for so many years has taught and still does the Spanish golf teams. But as you said, Ken, a wonderful competitor. And
116. 4 rows out of thick heather. This has got topspin on it.
Well, John, it's interesting. Young Justin was saying, well, I'm going to work on my putting, or when they get in, they always say I'm my putting, but we've seen him miss the short hole, the last hole, by 25 yards on the left, and that one hoiked in the rough again. So it's very hard to get birdies and put a good round together if you're missing greens and fairways.
Tricky little chip this for Colin to get the right contact. And he did it well. Just nipped it off the top. Easy to fluff those in front of you.
Good crowds here on this opening day. We're going to return to John Hawkesworth in a minute for his thoughts on Justin Rose, who's is spraying him a bit, John.
Yeah, he's spraying it a bit, but he's, as he said before, he's one of these guys who likes to have a few swing thoughts when he goes out that are mainly simple, but you know, it obviously works for him. It certainly didn't used to work for me, and he's nearly firing on all cylinders, but not just quite.
Well, he's got a long putt for his third shot here. Nicholas fast now at the 12th for a birdie. Second shot in the bunker, out to here. Not a great bunker shot, but if this goes in, oh no, I don't know. We must have got the wrong record on today, Ken, or we're on FM when we should be on the light programs. I don't know what's gone wrong with these fellas today there.
Bit of breeze blowing across this 11th green, very much downhill for Justin Rose here. Great crowd out here though watching him, and of course Cabrera, who's been hitting it miles at times, but Rose left with a downhill 35-footer breeze coming off the left, but the ball should move a little bit right to left, but it's quick.
And of course, with the fairways being bouncy and fast too, the further you hit, the narrower the fairways become. So it's a day really is course management under these conditions. I mean, we're at the end of May, and the greens, look at the colour of those greens. I mean, they're putting well, but they look almost burnt out. Good putt. By Jove, that was a good one.
And a wonderful year in the majors last year. Justin Rose finishing the top 12 in all 4 of them, which is a very high level of consistency. He had a chance to win the Masters.
To Nicholas for a par at the 12th. He's further away than he started. The white seems to be the in colour, and if you keep missing like this, I don't think it's the best shade to have. This it just blazed it straight out to the right, and the shoulders moved, everything moved. Not much to say about that, Ken.
Well, I think him chucking his ball over the fence says it all. But as the day goes by, these greens get trickier and trickier. The high areas get bare, the little valleys, the grass grows a bit longer and it starts to seed, and those little short ones become a little nervy.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to threaten that top of the leaderboard. Certainly not Paul McGinley, who hit the ball beautifully and putted nicely early on this morning.
Nice birdie for Colin. Super tee shot, lovely iron, little unlucky it ran over the back of the green. Good chip and a putt, and there's a little bit of a spring in those things now.
210 yards for Luke. This is his 3rd shot at the par 5, having chipped out of the right-hand trees.
I don't know what's gone wrong with the thought patterns or whatever's going on with our top players today, and those hoping for the top, but they've seemed to have forgotten the simple art of hitting the ball straight. And there's no way you can wrap it up any way you like, but it is a fact.
Cabrera easing one down the slope. Just a par at 11 for him.
Lee Westwood.
Lee launched that one 322 yards off the tee. 194 to go.
Well, that's about the best drive we've seen down here at the 12th, and a good-looking second if it comes. No, sat down. Maybe club short.
Driving the heather, wriggles out with a 4.
Now they're using this new back tee at the 12th, only a few yards off the back of the 11th. Remember, the old tee used to be up there about 20 yards or so. Hasn't made a lot of difference. They just put an extra few yards on. There's a view from the sort of angled corner of the fairway. And that's where used to be a couple more big furs. They've topped that one on the right. Seems to have taken the top out of it. It was getting too high. What's happening down up ahead there, Paul?
Well, Anders has hit his tee shot into the water hazard. He took a drop out of there, knocked it through to here. So by my addition, this is his 4th shot from 146 yards.
The defending champion has got the line, but not the strength. And I don't know, I may be wrong, Ken, but there's an air of disenchantment about a lot of the play so far today, and I've really no idea why. The incentives are certainly there to play well.
I should say. Hello. Yeah, £600,000 to the winner.
They pay tax on that, I suppose, don't they?
Yeah, oh, you do, and you probably pay your caddy, but it's still a handsome first prize.
Not bad for 4 rounds.
Well, this par 5 that Ola Tharble's just waiting to hit his tee shot on. Very reachable for him, 521 yards, but ditched down the left-hand side, 294, and his bad shot is a hook, but ideally down the right. It's a bit of a draw.
Going to hold the fairway. Will it? Will it? Will it? Will it hold the fairway? No. That might have settled in a bit of fluffy stuff.
Wasn't the friendliest of bounces, was it? Sort of kicked a little right and on. But it was never meant to be fair.
Well, the fairways really are firm. Mind you, we've had a dryish spell over the last few weeks, I suppose. Now Cabrera's got to be careful. That he's a huge hitter. If he's a whisker off line, he'll run into trouble, and that's on most holes. Kindly in off the knee, that one. Where's my lawyer? Where's a lawyer when you need? Oh, I'm all right. No, it's only a flesh wound. Wounded in battle. Yeah, that's it. He did it. Oh, that's it. You what? Right on the old various vein. Oh, Charlie.
Rose isn't as long as Cabrera, but he can certainly get home in 2. Cabrera's went off like an exocet. Again for Rose, just down the right with a bit of draw. He can get this 340 down the fairway.
He gets a big high ball as a rule, Justin Rose. A beautiful driver when he's on form, and that's going to stay on the fairway. Lady goes out, she gives us a check on how far the driver's been hit. Cabrera 3 over, 2 over, 3 over, Ollie. As they turn for home, there it is, making all the measurements there. Tell us exactly how many times they hit the fairway, the length, phone it in, all goes into the statistical book. Just check, what do you got? Not cribbing, are we? Used to get 6 of the best for cribbing. Can't do that anymore. Oh, let's see the ears there. I don't know where you get those from. The first time you go out on the job, that means you're a rookie. They are cruel, aren't they?
From the front of the 12th, an eagle chance for Lee Westwood. Up the slope, right to left. Go on. Yeah, and he's left himself one of them. Got to be a good touch putter at Wentworth. It's not a course where you stand over a yard and think, I'm going to force this one in, otherwise you do a Nicholas fast and you can go backwards and forwards for a while.
A lot of the greens and the courses around here are very subtle. I liked Andrew's descriptions when he said they were sly greens. They're just little runs and they look fairly flat and innocuous. All of Surrey courses are a bit like that. Hindhead and Liphook, Old Thorns, all those sort of fine old courses. Just a little bit of movement in the greens. They're very fast at this time of the year.
Yeah, I was brought up on a common course, Hartman Common Golf Club, and it's very similar. Growing up, you learn to read some of the very small nuances of the greens, which you wouldn't necessarily do if you were learning on a Florida course.
Hansen has done it. Oh, that's going to be half a dozen, isn't it, for our defending champion? See, usually they take time, they mark and look and think, and he's just, I'll get it out of the way. We saw Retief Goosen, one of my favourites this morning, just very nonchalantly knocking him in from 4 feet as if he'd lost interest altogether in the last few holes. That's what the game can do for you if you're not firing on all cylinders.
Through the shadows, and it was so easy to see the line. Donald for a par. No.
Yeah, there's a 6, all caused by misdirected tee shots. And it's hard to get back into it when you just knock shots away, and there it tells the whole story. One of the most consistent players. Caddy, their brother, they've been a partnership now for several years. Work well together.
Currently not in the top 10 though of the Ryder Cup points, which is really surprising. And he is very consistent. Christian, his brother, who caddied for him since he joined the tour.
Handsome pair, aren't they?
Hmm.
Westwood now, after that magnificent drive, underclubbed slightly with his second, putted up to here, just right of centre, with a bit of pace. Too far. Outside the hole, and a 5, is he? Only a par. I say they've had another mention from the centenary clubs this year. Worldbury, just on the outskirts of Weston-super-Mare. Lovely. I played there, oh gosh, in the 60s when my brother was the pro at Weston-super-Mare. Worldbury 100 this year.
Luke Donald, who plays on both sides of the Atlantic, but has played a little bit more recently on the European Tour. It's nice to see, and Shane caught up with him.
Can I ask you about the race to Dubai, which has been, put into the schedule for 2009? Obviously, you're playing both tours. What are your thoughts on this big, lucrative payoff at the end of the season? They have the FedEx Cup on the PGA Tour, and now it's going to be this over here.
No, it's nice that I think it's on. Congratulations to George O'Grady to trying to find new and innovative ways to expand the European Tour and make it a better tour, and hopefully I can support that as much as possible. I love coming here and playing a few events during the year, as many as I can, but it'll be interesting to see how the schedule changes for next year, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yes, the race to Dubai takes place next year. In November, a big tournament in Dubai, the final event of the season for $10 million. Olazabal coming out the rough. This is going to come out scampering, that's for certain. Looks tricky, John.
Yeah, sat down a little bit. 212 yards, 186 to fly. The new ditch short of the green, but he's pulled it a fraction left.
Caught the sand.
I don't know. I've seen a day probably in the last 10 years when there's hardly a breath of wind and so many players are struggling.
It is extraordinary, isn't it? And well, I can't explain it, Ken. And you really, apart from the course being a little firm and runny, it's bouncy. The greens are putting beautifully, and yet they're all struggling. Struggle.
197 for Justin Rose. Perfect position in the fairway. I was going to say, Peter, it looks an easy game with a microphone in your hand, but
I used to play a bit, you know, young man.
I know you did.
I used to play a little bit. Don't you get cheeky with me.
Anyway, this I think is as little as a 5-iron for Rose.
Needs a good bounce. Oh, doesn't make the carry.
It would be nice to see somebody hitting, apart from the fairway, hitting the greens occasionally, John. A good head in hands, and there's like the fellow that missed the penalty last night. He's paying 150 grand a week, and you can't put it between the posts. Slipped over, didn't I? Poor old Chris. They're all in tears around here, I can tell you.
Quiet, please.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know why it appears so difficult, this 12th hole, because it's straight down breeze. Cabrera 193 the flag, he can really attack it.
It's extraordinary. The green's the size of a tennis court, and I just run it. We'll just sit back and revel in it then. Check on the lead. Paul McGinley must be sitting somewhere comfortably with a cup of tea and a hot cross bun, and must be thinking, hey, this is turning out to be all right. And Mark Warren, Houston, Van Six, Fatzel, they must all think this is lovely. Marcel Seam, well, Marcel's a bit of an unknown quantity. He could finish 10 Jack Queen and catch him, but I have to wait and see.
No. Tried to force one on the last. This time we'll just baby it in. But players as good as this aren't missing by this sort of distance without there being something not quite right with the greens. I mean, you don't miss by 6 inches on the right from 4 feet. Very often, anyway.
I don't think they've done anything strange with the greens. They talk about 2 relayed greens, which might be a little different, but the greens are perfect. Alphabetical scores going through for you. Leader at 7 under. Really, that 1 under. There you are. You can see where they are. The finished scores Archer. They're at 5 over 77, and so on and so on. We've had a communication, and it was very interesting, about a lady, one of the greatest women's golfers, the Irish lady, lovely lady, Philomena Garvey. I remember watching her many moons ago, 5 times a finalist in the British Amateur Championship. He won the title many moons ago at Glen Eagles. 82 years of age now, lives at Baltray, County Cork. Outstanding. She was outstanding champion, won the Irish Amateur umpteen times, 14, 15 times. One of the all-time greats alongside Maureen Garrett, Jean Bisgood, Marley Spearman. I'm sure you ladies who play golf in the LGU will remember all those great names from the past. That was so much fun to watch playing when the ladies, many of them, all of them, remained amateurs apart from a couple. Jean Donald and Jessie Valentine were the only 2. Wanda Morgan, they were the 3 pros of the day. Good pro-am yesterday. Tim Henman played. Sean caught up with him.
Are we going to see more of you on the golf course now? Is this your permanent home?
I don't know if you'll see a lot more of me, but I will be on the golf course. Yeah, it's been fantastic the last 7-8 months since I stopped playing tennis. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of golf, so I really enjoy it.
Now, you obviously started around 18 handicap a couple of years ago, or give us the progression.
Yeah, I played all sports when I was young. From probably 3, 4, 5 onwards, I was playing football, rugby, cricket, hockey, squash, bit of tennis and some golf. So I think if you sort of get some idea of the fundamentals when you're young, it makes it a bit easier when you want to play a bit more when you're older. And so yeah, I'm enjoying practicing, trying to improve a little bit.
What is it that you love about the game? Clearly, to get down to 3, there's obviously a passion about the game.
Yeah, it's about 5 hours to escape from people like you. Normally they can't get to you. So no, it's a good escape. I found when I was playing tennis, actually, it is a good way to, you know, get away from things and you know, look at a different type of ball. And but it's a challenge as well. It's a great game, and I think there are a lot of similarities between golf and tennis, and good individual sport, and can't rely on anyone else. And I think some of the sort of routines between preparing to hit shots is similar. So no, I love it. Yeah, I'm definitely addicted.
What's holding you back now from getting down to scratch?
I don't know. Too many shots. Yeah, adding up the shots at the end don't add up to par. So that's what I've got to improve.
We've seen the likes of Ivan Lendl, obviously a great tennis player in his day, and a, you know, multiple Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
Transfer his energies into golf, and he's, you know, really gotten down low and has attempted the odd professional tournament.
No, not for me. No, there's enough competition at Sunningdale to worry about and think about things like that. No, I've played one sport with enough sort of pressure and practice, and this is just a good hobby.
Horrid lie for Rose, plummeted in the bunker because he knew sand, buried, horrid. Hit and hope. Come along, come along. Tim Henman there, taking about his new love golf. Plays at Sunningdale. Used to have started most of his early golf at Coombe Hill. A delightful course just 8 to 10 miles south of London. And he'll be at Wimbledon, a new role this year, Tim Henman, Wimbledon for the BBC. He's really got into golf. Well, talking about Ivan Lendl, he's a top class player. Michael Chang, they run round about scratch or plus handicaps.
All three very indifferent recovery shots here on the 12th. None of them really threatening the hole for birdie, but Rose's lie was atrocious in the bunker. He did well to get it out with the sand wedge. Sounded like he made contact with the stone, but anyway, he's okay.
How are the greens looking to you? They look a little parched to us.
Well, I heard Peter say before, they're pretty brown for the time of the year, and I'd have to agree, but the surfaces are pretty good. They're a bit quirky to read, but all in all, they're holding up pretty well. They're not spiking up. And I think they've been pretty even through the day for both morning and afternoon starters, but maybe a fraction slower at this time of the day.
Well, this is Rose's 4th shot here at the 12th. No. Good drive wasted.
th and Colin Montgomery. Uphill par 3, pin on the back little ledge. And nicely done. Just killed it in the ridge. Very difficult to get on that little back area now. Pitch it short, it rolls back over the bit long and it bounces through. Engel. Nicely done.
Richard Sterney now on the 14th. Trying to get as much height as possible. Get to land softly.
Not the easiest of putts that he's got here, but Cabrera already in the hole. No breeze around this 12th green, so no excuse.
Stays at 3 over. Cabrera's birdie took him to 2 over, and Justin Rose has got this little one coming up for his par.
quite a strong breeze helping on this 14th now, and with that whole location on the top level, it's almost impossible to land it on that level and get it to stop without going over the back of the green. So it's a very testy shot, this one, for Nicholas Fast. 182 yards today. That's just a 7-iron.
Yes, quality shot. Anything on the back ridge, a little bit wider on the left, about 10 paces deep. On the right, the back ridge about 8.
It's a big 7-iron though, Ken, isn't it?
Oh.
Marcel's seen this for a double bogey on the dreaded 16th hole. Oh, triple bogey. Oy vey. Well, it's been a funny old day. Oh, good in there, my son. That may be in Thomas Bjorn's garden. I think that's probably where he gets his practice balls from, Tom. Referee, hello. Can you hear? Oh, now this is interesting. Now this could be interesting. Why does he want the referee? I've thrown my ball away. I didn't mean to. Is that a 2-shot penalty? Are they complaining about the slow play? I don't know.
It's Mike Shea of the PGA Tour, their senior referee.
They're from the US PGA Tour.
They may have been being timed, and then they caught the people up in front and feel there's a bit of an injustice being done. Jarmo Sandlin, normally a fairly placid sort of guy. Not sure. Find out for you if we can.
Tempers are getting a little frayed, and it's such a gentle game. Luke missed another green. That's better. Well, there must be some reason for these miscues, but Andrew Cotter's coming back into play, and he'll tell us all about it.
Interesting, just coming in as Ken and Peter were guessing. The rage of Seaman, Jarmo Sandlin, was because they were being put on the clock, and they felt it was a bit of an injustice. They'd not lost too much ground on the group in front. They were saying everyone just a bit hot and bothered. Olazabal off that low tee, firing a driver away. Well, he's found the 13th fairway. The scoring looking all the way down. I was out in the practice ground talking to Andrew Coulthart, who finished with a 72 early, and he says it's a lot more difficult than it looks. The greens are just a little bit uneven, and the conditions are getting harder all the time. A little bit of a breeze, things firming up. Fiddly, Lee Westwood. Well, steady at 2 over. Fiddly it may be, but the scoring this afternoon is dreadful, too strong a word. One shining light, Robert Karlsson, 4 under par after 11 holes, but he is the only one there, as you can see on the right-hand side. He is the only one still out on the course. Everyone else completed their round. Paul McGinley, a long, long time ago, 65, 7 under, 2 clear of the Australian Marcus Fraser. We thought that it was going to be a day of wonderful scoring. Certainly promised that in the morning. All these players, as you can see, just Michael Lorenzo Vera from France out on the course, 2 under par. But everybody else who's still out in the course is really outside the top 20. You've got some tied there in 17th, coming towards the end of the round. Shiv Kapoor, Rafa Eshenique, Oliver Wilson slipped back to 1 under par. But it's scores already completed in the clubhouse that are good. Monty would love to be there with another couple of birdies.
Trying for this one across the green. No, 14th. Some things don't change much, Andrew. I mean, we had plenty of things to complain about, we thought, when I played 30-odd years ago. But the plain facts are that it's nothing to do with the greens, or they're just not hitting straight. They're not finding the greens. You can say, oh, the grass is seeding and the greens are a little bumpy. But when you're under-clubbing, over-clubbing, missing the greens for 30 yards, that's nothing to do with the conditions that prevail at this moment.
Well, it's quite warm down here on the 14th, and Lee Westwood and his caddy Alliss are just in the shade there. Amif brief respite from the sunshine, but absolutely magnificent day here at Wentworth.
Shudder to think what'll happen to the scores if the wind really starts to blow. Play has been slow this afternoon as well. Not of the highest quality and slow to boot. In it goes for Sterney on the 14th of par, 14th, which is a tricky, a strange little par 3, and Ken's been having a look at it.
The 14th today, the flag is in its usual spot on the back little terrace, which is only about 8 or 9 yards wide, and guarding it is this little ridge. And with the greens a little bit firmer, the players are going to have a dilemma. Where do you land the ball? Do you try and land it just short of it and skid it up, or do you go for the big, high Johnny Miller shot, floating in and landing it softly by the flag here? And you've only got about 5 yards to land it in. Anything coming up short, it's a surprisingly steep little tee, this. The ball just goes trickling back. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yards to land in. If the ball skids through, it's very, very tricky. 3 layers of fringe. This bit not too bad. If you just trickle over the back, you've got a chance. But it comes in here, just nestles down a bit. Not too bad, but you can see the ball settles down. You've got a very delicate little shot. If the ball goes a little further through, it's awful. You've made a marginal misjudgment. You try to get the ball at the back pin, and that's a very awkward spot. If we look back round where the ball's got to be landed now, you've got this little landing area and the ball running away from you. So getting the ball close to this 14th pin, very tricky. You've got the little tier, you've got to get above it, but it's so easy to skid at this back little area here and leaves a very awkward pitch. Club selection difficult, and you've got to be pinpoint accurate if you're going to get to that flag. It looks fairly easy at the moment, but it's very tough to get it on that back ledge.
It's quite right, you know. A 3's always a good score at the 14th, but I never played it with a 7 irons years ago. It was usually a 4 or 5 iron, or sometimes a 3 iron. That's a 6 iron from Westwood. Pulled it, has he, a bit? And it's not. Yes, it is. Stay, 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 stay. Sit. It's stopped.
That's quite interesting. The greens are not, they might be tricky, but they're not quick. 10.5 on the old stimp meter. That should, perhaps could, later in the year run down the slope.
Well, they look as they might have looked 4 weeks ago. They looked like very early spring greens, and now, well, only a few weeks' time, maybe the longest day. Then another few weeks go by, and people say the nights are drawing in. It'll be Christmas soon.
Well, the wind has just died as Peter's been speaking there. It's a 5 iron for Anders Hansen.
Another misjudgment. Montgomery got a par. Shot dropped at the last. So it's this untidy play is going on, and it's defeating me at the moment as to why it should be. I'm sure we're going to have some of the players come in and tell us what's been happening we didn't sort of spot, but at the moment there's nobody playing what we've considered golf to suit the day, and the day basically is nearly perfect. So it's hard to understand what's going on. Paul, any thoughts on it?
None at all, Peter. But I do know that the wind has just picked up as Luke Donald addresses this shot. He's gone for a 5 iron as well. He needs to pitch it 171 at the bottom of the slope and let it skip up.
That's the plan, and executed. One of the best we've seen from Luke Donald. That is the way to do it.
Well, it can be done, thank goodness. Rose in trouble again. It's the 13th second shot, corner, got to play out to the right. Can he get it up and round? He's played a miraculous shot from the new bunker up the left-hand side. That's a tremendous shot from Justin Rose. With a very lofted club. I presume that was his tee shot up there. It's a massive drive.
Mighty hit with a sand wedge or a gap wedge from that bunker. For a lot of these players this afternoon, 2 over par seems to be just about the norm. Rose 2 over, Monty 2 over, Luke Donald with a putt to get back to level, Westwood 2 over par. You can contact us, email via the website bbc.co.uk/golf. and ask us why things are going so horribly wrong for some of the best players in the world.
I don't know. It's defeated me. But the nice news in the world, we've got Ian Wrigley. Now, we're Dunham Forest, where we used to play a great Pro-Am there years ago, just on the south side of Manchester, Dunham Forest. Ian Wrigley's been the pro there. I remember as a fresh-faced young boy when David Thomas left there. 25 years have passed. And the club are having a little jamboree for Ian and his family at the club, I think tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, at the weekend. So I bet that'll be a happy occasion. 25 years slips by. You see Ollie's striding through the green here, and he's he's left himself a test. One of these little chips that Ken was saying, he was at the next hole, behind the next green, the 14th. But this is downhill. This is a devilish shot from here.
But if there's anyone in the world to play it and to watch play it, Olazabal is the master.
Olazabal and Seve Ballesteros were the most magnificent partnership in Ryder Cup play, World Cups and all that sort of thing. But really, I don't think Ollie ever got the full acknowledgement, because time and time again he sort of saved the day when Seve's flamboyance had gone a little bit awry. He'd come in with a putt hold or a masterful chip shot. They were a wonderful combination. Now this looks as if he's going to play a high flopper to try and pitch it on the green and let it sort of trickle down. Widey stance is going to be a wristy one. Quick break of the wrist, hit no. Half fluffed it. That's actually half fluffed, and it's doing quite well. Just wanted a slightly bit better contact, and that would have ended up probably about 4 feet right of the flag. Nearly got away with it.
Karlsson. And that was for a birdie at the 12th on the par 5. So we have hope. We have optimism for the afternoon runners. Robert Karlsson moves to within 2 of Paul McGinley, and the Swede, who's been going very well indeed this season, the tallest man on tour, is just 2 behind Paul McGinley, and all is not lost.
Exactly. Well, I've watched him for pretty well the whole season in every tournament he's played, Karlsson, and he has played some beautiful golf. Putted well too, lovely putter. But back to Justin Rose. Played that remarkable shot from the bunker. And this for a 3. There's a distinct air of disenchantment about the place, and I have no idea why. Two over for Justin Rose. Cabrera, a recent winner of the US Open Championship. I don't think I'll ever forget that last tee shot he hit Andrew when he won the championship over there. The most magnificent drive, ripped it into the middle of the fairway, flicked it up on the green. A couple of putts and he was a champion, much to the surprise and chagrin of many of my American friends. Left, 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 always left.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Cabrera wins the US Open in such style, Michael Campbell won in such style at Pinehurst, and they're almost like these players who reach the top of the mountain and say, is that all there is? And
that's all, yeah, that's right.
And don't know how to push on from there, even though they're trying, they say they're trying to push on, and you get Padraig Harrington is determined to win multiple majors. You sense that he might do that, but Cabrera and Campbell was losing their way after winning one of the greatest prizes.
A lot of it has to do with confidence, temperament, call it what you will. Donald for a birdie at the 14th, and he's no, he hasn't. It's puzzling them. The examination paper is taking its toll. Yeah, Michael Campbell there, what an extraordinary, what an enigma he is. I mean, he's a magnificent player. Ollie now for a par, 13th hole. Just a little touch of movement on this putt. Left and in. That was a struggle, wasn't it? But it's a 4. But he's 3 over. Well, he can, a good finish. You get him with a 73, 72. But if things go wrong, suddenly it's a 75.
Anders Hansen for par. Look at the black figures. +3, +4. These players playing this afternoon are going to have to make up some ground tomorrow morning when the weather is benign. But it's, I say benign, it's not exactly fierce this afternoon, but when there are perhaps less imperfections in the greens.
Westwood tapping in. Well, they're obviously getting cross with the greens. I think they're seeding. That's that sort of real good old-fashioned grass. It's nothing fancy, and it's they seed, and you know what it's like. They get a little bumpy, but it's not the end of the world, really. McGinley, he's been there a long time now. Marcus Fraser. Karlsson, though, creeping up. And, well, we've all been saying how well Robert Karlsson's been playing this year. Week in, week out, he's been there. Had his chances of winning. And then a gaggle of 68s. Quite a few 70s. But you see, we're down to the top 10. And you're down to about 70. That's about the best score. Par here, 72. So 72, anything better than 72 today is going to be in very good shape, and considering the benign weather, that's I thought there would be a lot more players under par than there are.
182 for Cabrera, the Argentinian up the hill with his languid swing, good looking shot. Needs to go a touch.
Yeah, look good, but club half a club short. Just starting to trickle back. Ah, where is the applause? You are sacked. Very sun-caddying for him. Angel Jr. at the Masters. That's not him. Unless he was a very early starter. I must correct my grammar a moment ago. My mother would kill me. Less imperfections in the green, fewer imperfections in the green. Even if the golf isn't good, we're all learning something today.
You've done good there.
Well, Olazabal knows from Angel Cabrera's shot that he's not got up on the top level. That's why there was no applause. And I always found this tee shot difficult, climbing uphill about 30 feet, going with a medium iron, trying to get the elevation but get the ball to stop. Because big is dead. So for Olazabal, who normally flies the ball a bit lower, he could pitch it a third of the way up the green, try and skip it up the green, but it's a clever shot to pull it off with the 5-iron.
Well, he usually has some fierce practice swings, about 3 or 4 of them every shot he plays. It's a wonder he's not exhausted by the time he gets to the end of the round. Here he goes, 5-iron. Usually a beautiful iron player, particularly with the longer iron, 2, 3, 4, but that's pushed away and up the bank and nasty. Not far out, but another little chip, another green mist. See, you look at the trees there, Andrew, there's hardly a leaf moving, is there? And it really looks very, very calm. It looks almost thundery, in fact.
It's getting a little bit close on you. Standing down on the 14th tee, and you start to look at the tops of the trees and look at the way the clouds are moving, and then you hear no applause for Cabrera's shot. Gets shot. Olazabal's through, and Justin Rose will be wondering.
Well, somewhere in between those two, really, but you're right, there's no breeze out here now. And it's normally one of the windiest parts of the course. Justin going with the 6-iron has to get all of this.
Ah, wonderful. Great shot from Justin Rose.
It's one of the best we've seen.
Praise be, it's Robert Karlsson, 5 under par. No drop shots, not a 5 on his card. Taking dead aim. Well, 6'5" of him. He's finished third the last 2 weeks in the Italian Open and the Irish Open.
He had chances really in both of them to, you know, to win, but he played some consistent golf, and that's another fine iron. And the white trouser brigade, that must be the in colour today. Andrew, have you ever owned white trousers? No, I don't know. You know, Scots have shorts, don't they? They don't have white trousers. Kilts. That's a pretty tidy looking card, isn't it? That's beautiful. Beautiful round. Hello.
White trousers. No,
he's in the land of Nod. He's got his elephant hair bracelet on. Yeah, we got that in Kenya, you know. I still say Kenya, not Kenya, but there we are. Now, Monty.
Never in white trousers. You could still sneak towards the level par mark with a strong finish. We certainly could now. Hop on and break. This will break and this will roll.
Oh, Monty.
Oh, misread it.
If that hole had been cut properly, that would have gone in.
Should be a 3, though.
Yeah, I hope Monty recovers and gets going. Tournaments without Montgomery sort of lack a little different level from Tiger Woods, but without them in the field, just something is missing. And they're playing well and going nicely, and all the little nuances they bring with them. They've seen it all before. Oh, look at that. Chocolate. No calories.
Is that her beer in the background?
Nothing like an ice cream. Unless it's 2 ice creams.
Now, I remember Gary Player used to, he wore a pair of those.
Yes, St Andrews. What a stir that caused. Black and white. The great days of apartheid. And he came out striking a blow. But he didn't have shoes. I think he must have nicked those shoes from outside the shoe shop. They always put one shoe, you know, so you can't nick a pair. I think he's been there and got a brown and a white and a black.
That was Felipe Aguilar. Good finish last week in Ireland and bought himself a pair of silly trousers with the prize money. Olazabal, again, testing his short game.
Now this is difficult. This is difficult, John.
Difficult, Peter. Oh, I've just had a jolly good look at it, and well, I wish him all the best here because he's on the side slope coming downhill and he's only about 18 feet from the hole. But he's just nestled down a little bit. He's about 3.5 feet above the green itself, so he's got to be a bit cutie and just pitch it in the fringe and hope it releases down.
It only needs to be a whisker too hard and you're 8 feet past. A little bit of debris. The usual 6 or 7 looks at the hole. Always looks up, certainly 6 times. Lots of preparation. Steps up to the ball. Now head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Oh, see, he was bold enough. He had the ability and the courage to hit it firm, the confidence to hit it firm, and it got just the right amount of check. And that's a beautiful result from a simple, fairly simple looking shot, but very difficult. Nasty place.
Back on the 13th. And Robert Karlsson going very well. And Philip Parkin has caught up with a hot player this afternoon, Philip.
Yes, there wasn't much going on with Colin Montgomery, and Richard Sterney wasn't feeling very well, so Robert Karlsson, being the hot boy, has this now for a birdie on 13. This will be birdie number 3 in the last 3 holes if it goes in. Fairly fast putt. But he's been playing tremendously well the last month.
Well, he's, what is he, 6'6", 6'7". He's a lovely putter. Makes it look very simple. Nice and firm, no flick of the wrist, just keeps the head steady. No, that's a poor putt for him. See, foot left, so wasn't confident on that one. Off he goes. He's played in a Ryder Cup and looks as if he might play again if he keeps up this good play.
Well, there's not been much change at the top of the leaderboard of the BMW PGA Championship for quite some significant time. Paul McGinley out early this morning with a 65, 7 under par. Took a while to get going for Paul, but come the last 10, 11 holes or so, he got hot with a putter. This was on 14, the par 3. That took him to 5 under. This was for a birdie at the par 5, 17th. Just caught enough of the hole. That took him to 6 under par. And this, a nice easy 2-putt birdie for Paul and a 65. Well, that course record set the pace that has nobody's matched it yet. Robert Karlsson's the only one we've seen that looks like he might get close to it. But 7 birdies and no bogeys for Paul, and birdies at every single one of the 4 par 5s at Wentworth. As a reminder that Paul McGinley has a 2-shot lead over Marcus Fraser, the Australian, who last year was just 1 shot off the lead going into the final round, but finished 12th. Robert Karlsson, the informed Swede, 5 under par with 5 holes to play. Schwartzel got it going earlier on, dropped a shot towards the end of his round, 68-2 for Daniel Vanchik and Gary Houston. Nick Doherty is 70. Winner here 2 years ago, David Howell, is 70 for him. And Paul Casey is 71, who went close in the Masters until he fell away in the final round. Oliver Wilson, 1 under par after 11 holes. Damien McCrane, 72 for the Irishman. Paul Lawrie, 72 as well. Marcus Seam, who was one of those that looked like challenging with had a 7 at the 16th, triple bogey there. Rory McIlroy, we all remember him, the amateur last year at the Open, has now turned professional of course, and a consistent player already on tour. So a lot of big names that have found life difficult out there on the course this afternoon, amongst them Colin Montgomery, Luke Donald and Henrik Stenson. Simon Kahn, who went very close here a couple of years ago. Lee Westwood struggled on the greens yet again. Justin Rose hasn't found the form of last year when he lost in a playoff, of course, to Anders Hansen. Angel Cabrera normally fares much better at Wentworth. Ernie Els and Darren Clark, 2 more big names that have won this season, finding Wentworth playing rather more difficult. Lee Slattery playing his final hole. Jose Maria Olazabal, well, he's had his injury problems of late. Good to see him on the golf course. Thomas Bjorn is 76, Retief Goosen the same score, 76. So a lot of big name players are going to have their work cut out to make the cut tomorrow afternoon. Michael Campbell, Nicholas Fast. Richard Stern, he's played well here before. He's having a poor day. Peter Whiteford was a last-minute replacement of Vijay Singh, sadly missing because of a torn muscle. Pulled out just seconds before he was supposed to tee off. This is the last page of the players out there today. Some of the players have a few holes to go, but they're not enjoying it. Here's Robert Karlsson, one player this afternoon who is making the course look not quite so difficult as others.
Now faced with this familiar to many of you long run for home at Wentworth. A par 3, a couple of 4s and 2 5s.
Yeah, and when he's on, he makes the game look very easy. Shot 61 a few weeks ago in the Italian Open.
Up on the right level, that's not bad. Good viewing station here, the 14th, not perhaps as good as the around the 7th green, 8th tee, 10th green, 11th tee. You've got a cluster of holes to watch there, but few folk get here. There's a group come in from the Southwark Park Golf Club every year. They sit up there and watch the play come through, regular. Looking down green to the tee. Stenson, haven't seen much of him.
Stenson normally very aggressive, and he's gone at this flag, drawing a little bit left.
Better, top level, that's good.
I was noticing on my way around the course, Peter, that if you own a certain type of car, and timing is everything, if you own a certain type of car and you're a spectator here, that stand is specifically for you behind the 14th green. So if you own another car,
well, there's a couple of Johns, a Chaz and a Keith. They've been here for years, 130 years service in the Royal Navy between them, regular supporters. Watching Rose at the 15th, they've seen him come off the 14th green.
One of the hardest driving holes on the golf course, and Rose has tucked it a fraction left.
What do you say?
3 bunkers down the left, waiting for anything errant, but Olazabal absolutely smoked one down here.
Well, he took a driver. We haven't seen the result of it. That's I see Cabrera's got a driving iron out, but we'll first go to Westwood.
Up ahead. This for par. We said that pin today is down the left half of the green, flatter part of the green.
Yes, Lee having to take a penalty drop, hit his 7-iron third shot to here. Back up the hill, left to right swing here for Lee.
Just to give it a good wrap. Well, good effort. No consolation. That's a shot gone for Westwood, and he will slip back to 3 over. The scoreboard is just painted black to denote over par figures. Alistair McLean alongside him. Spent a long time with Colin Montgomery. And he has been in form this season. Played very, very well indeed. Worked on his short game. His short game used to be his Achilles heel. He's strengthened it, working a lot with Mark Rowe. They're saying that the greens are not massively quick, running reasonably well. And Ken's been having a look as we watch Luke Donald. Oh, Miller putt missed. Ken's been having a look at the West Course greens at Wentworth.
What are the greens like this week at Wentworth?
well, they're pretty darn good. And I've got my fork out to test the texture, I've got a ball to test the pace. If you come down to the putting surface, you can see, well, it's beautiful, lush, brilliant green, perfect putting surface, maybe a little bit trickier in the afternoon. But the talk of the town this week has been the firmness of the greens. The ball, when it lands, is not stopping quite as quickly. It'll be important to find the fairways to see if you can pinpoint, accurately hit your irons and control the distance. But you can see I'm digging this in quite violently, and it only goes in an inch or so. So these are firm greens. The pace, well, they're running, I would say, 11.5. Get above the cup, this will give you an idea of it pretty darn quick. So this week, finding the fairway is going to be key. Keep the ball below the cup. You can get at these flags. If you don't, Wentworth, with it being firm on the greens, is a much tougher test.
See what you should do with an egg whisk. That, damaging the greens.
Just aerating it. Defending champion, just at the left edge. Yes. See, Ken is one of those fortunate people who was a good putter early in his days, and he still is. He doesn't play hardly at all now. He plays with the two boys occasionally. Still retains a beautiful putting stroke. And the good putters are born. Great putters are born. You could make someone into a decent putter.
Oh,
gee whiz. It's a carnival of errors, isn't it? When he had a penalty stroke, I mean, he's running up. They're only up 5s and 6s and 7s.
Tumbles back to 4 over. Smile is not one of joy.
No. Smiling through the tears. Karlsson at the 14th with Phil Parkins looking at this straight across the. This is the putt McGinley almost hold, I fancy.
Yeah, it's not an easy one to read. You would think it was going to break a little bit from left to right, but it never seems to move as much as you expect. So there's still a fairly good opportunity for Robert this to get to 6 under.
Good stroke, he's hit it. Oh, Karlsson. One more puff of breath, one more inch of effort, and he would have been romping ever closer to McGinley. He's striking the ball well, he's putting well.
Two 4s and 2 5s to finish, and if he has a few good straight shots, he could do it. Cabrera thumps one into the 15th green. 3 over. Come on. Almost the easiest putt on the green. Up the hill.
Lethable there with just about the best tee shot. With the driver, hit a very low flight off the tee, which is, well, sometimes he hits those chasers, especially around a golf course like that. It's a good shot to hit, but 184 yards left for Lethable, coming straight down the hill, a little bit down breeze. Can pitch this front third of the green on the right, and it will feed down to the flag.
Just about, but the key part of the plan was missing. It was the wrong club. A long time ago, it seems now, that he was dancing on the final green at Muirfield Village in 1987. Peter was talking about it earlier, the combination with Seve in the Ryder Cup. He was often in Seve's shadow, Seve in the light himself, but Lethable has been such a strong player in Europe and beyond. I'm sure he will be involved in the Ryder Cup in whatever capacity, as player or as vice captain. He'll be a captain in the future.
180 left for Justin, been in the bunker. down the left-hand side. This is third shot into the par 4.
Has he found sand again? Sands to fairway, to sands to oblivion and beyond. He's struggling.
Well, it's hard to explain, isn't it? Because I mean, he's the swing looks as good as it's done for the last few years, but the ball's just not going straight. He's hardly hit the fairways, hardly hit the green.
He's not right out of contention. Not a birdie today though, and it's worrying for everyone.
Colin, third shot at the 16th. Now, where's he been? Tidy, very tidy.
He did very well to birdie the 15th to get back to 1 over. Now a little rescue remedy for Westwood off the tee the 16th, with frustration in it. Oh my goodness.
Surely not. Surely not in there.
Reload.
Well, Paul McGinley must be sitting some at home probably, with his feet up, watching Countdown, and thinking this isn't too bad at all, although he's only 2 ahead of Marcus. 3 off the tee, so he's abandoned that one. That must be, well, it's thick stuff in there. Even if he found it, I doubt whether he'd be able to reach the fairway. The dreaded 16th at Wentworth. Well, Karlsson, can he hold all the bolts and screws together over these last 4 holes?
Yeah, and Robert Karlsson's on the dreaded 15th. Always a very challenging tee shot, this one. 492 yards today, 2 bunkers over on the left-hand side. Definitely want to avoid those. Don't want to go too far right either, so important to hit the fairway.
It was almost like a low Tiger Woods stinger. We're clinging to Robert Karlsson this afternoon as an example of a player who really can put some birdies together. It's a very impressive round from Karlsson. Another fairway found. And now very well bunkered down the left-hand side, but for most of the players just a 3-wood today, and then it's the green which provides a lot of the problems, banking from right to left. You want to land it just about where that ball is landing there. It'll feed down to the hole. The pin position is right there, just a few paces from the left-hand side. All the balls feed down towards that left half of the green. Now Monty on the 16th to save his par.
Yes. Now, you'll notice there was just 1 over, so a 4-4 finish, and suddenly a 71 doesn't look too bad.
I think he's a scoreboard watcher. He knows that people are struggling. Eagle putt for Tongchai Jaidi on the 17. Well, it's a comfortable birdie. He as well is going nicely. White trousers.
Must be the in colour. We've had a directive from somebody. White trousers on Thursday. I know, where's that come from? At the bunker, that wasn't a very good shot either. Well, that looks as if some new sand's been put in there. Then we see a lot of sand there, but no sand there. We did say earlier, I don't know why the bunkers don't get just dug over once a year, maybe once every 2 years, just lightly. Solve all those problems.
Now, a big moment in the round of Colin Montgomery. What a drive this is at the 17th. They applaud. He looks rather anxious. That's cracker. And just feeding down with a camber to the right-hand side. He'll have a view of the green.
In his heyday, there were, I doubt whether there were more than 4 or 5 better drivers in the world, or even as good as Colin Montgomery.
121 yards for Luke Donald, just a wedge, not a breath of wind here now.
He's a player of tremendous poise and grace, Luke Donald. Again, like so many others, struggling a little bit today, though he is faring best of all of this 3-ball. And with that to get back to level par with a couple of par 5s to come. Westwood on the slide.
He's going to slide even further here. Andrew, I can report that Lee did not find his ball in the trees on the left-hand side, so he'll be playing 4 from the fairway, 116 yards, exactly the same distance for defending champion Anders Hansen. Just a wedge as well. Well, Lee's normally deadly from this range, 116 yards just with the wedge again. But oh dear, double bogey at the last. This is now his 4th shot here at the 16th. Come on, Lee.
Down the flag and a hop back or two, and that, well, it's going to drop a shot or a couple. Good shape now. I made the mistake of going up to him at the Masters. I hadn't seen him for a while, Lee Westwood, and said, "You look good," and then realised it sounded a bit strange and he looked slightly disturbed. But he's been taking great care of himself recently, Lee Westwood, and I think Shane was talking to him about his fitness regime.
You look like you've really kind of changed your physical shape, if you don't mind me saying. Have you been working deliberately on a programme, or what is it?
Yeah, I've been working for about 18 months now on golf-specific stuff in the gym. I'm into a phase now where I'm doing lots of weights and lifting bars and stuff like that. So I'm starting to see it because I'm hitting the ball further. I feel like I've got a lot more control. So it's always positive when you see fruits of labour.
Do you go down to your local gym, or have you set something up at home?
I stay at home. I wouldn't expose anybody to my legs.
And a personal trainer, I take it, obviously comes around.
Yeah, I have a guy that's worked a lot in football, but has a lot of knowledge about the golf swing, and we're doing stuff because, you know, at the high-end level of sport, you really need to put a good team around you and work on specifics.
Clearly Tiger raised the bar. Is that part of the motivation in kind of getting in better physical shape for you?
Well, yeah, that and hitting 30. You know, things start to not work quite how they should. And, all the kids coming out on tour now are all in their early 20s and late teens, so you know, I've got to be fit, and I had to do something about it.
Well, he does look good now. But in trouble in the 16th and back in the 15th. Justin Rose also in trouble. This to drop just 1 shot. Bunker off the tee, greenside bunker, and a missed putt, and Rose will slip back to 4 over. It's all going horribly wrong.
Interesting group. Ollie. Just up the left side, could be, no. Oh, it did. Well done, well done. Needed that one. That's better, Ollie. Email from Owen Peters, who's watching in Holland. Any promising young Dutch golf? Yeah, you've got, what's his name? Jan Dirks.
Robert Jan Dirks.
Yeah, he's been playing well. Holland, many people say that that's where golf began, but don't tell the Scots that, Erwin.
Martin Lefebvre?
Yes.
Rolf Muntz was on tour for a while.
Rolf Muntz, he was a lovely fellow. Well, Dirkson's a nice fellow too, a good player.
Only 172 yards left for Robert Karlsson. Every club looks like a wedge in his hand, but this is a 6-iron.
Short, tight swing for a big man, sends the ball very high. He's finding the heart of most of the greens and giving himself plenty of birdie putts. He passed Anders Forsbrand, who was previously Sweden's most prolific winner.
I think he was the first one to win, wasn't he? Anders Forsbrand was the first of modern times to win it. Westwood is going to drop 2 shots. It's been a great struggle. A great struggle. Email from Bob Henman. Are there still any artisan clubs? Yes, there are. Some of the big old clubs still carry on that tradition, Bob, which is a good thing, I think. Here's Luke Donald for a birdie. Birdie at the 16th. Good second shot, and no, it's not working today. Woking, Westhill, Sunningdale, certainly. A lot of clubs, old established clubs, had an artisan section. In return for letting the sort of artisans, the workers, play, they used to, or still do, contribute to the running of the course, helping out on high days and holidays. And at Deal, at Royal Cinque Ports, have a nice little artisan clubhouse. Now, Justin, come on, straight, my boy. Hit it right between those bunkers. Long iron, straight and true.
Well, Lethable in the left-hand bunker, and Cabrera just flirted with it, but he's okay. There's a lot more definition this hole now at 383 yards. It gives you the target you need to try and find, but it presents its problems with the iron. No breeze.
Well, as Rose's ball sails up into the perfect spot, Ken Brown's back. Ken, come and relieve us.
I'll do my best. Good crowds out watching. 17th tee, and doesn't look too inviting to me, this tee shot, Paul.
No, it's not, and particularly not for Lee Westwood, having careered his last 2 tee shots into the left-hand trees. But first, Luke steadied the ship down a little bit. Unfortunate to miss that putt on the last, but like we were saying, good crowds out here today. Wind off the right-hand side.
Good one. We'll take one just off the right edge, as long as it's not in the thicker stuff. Stay there. No, well, I can still see it. Lying fine. The shoes of Westwood off the back of double bogey at the 15th, double bogey at the 16th, 6 over par.
Well, on the first par 5 on this 9, the 12th, Lee hit it 322 yards. I'm sure there's going to be a bit of temper behind this one. Needs to start it down the right. Just let it drift back into the slope to the left.
Little dip of the head and very good. Good line. Tight to the left side and then bounding all the way down, all the way down. That's a long one. That's a shot at the green in 2. He needs a couple of birdies at least to finish with.
Europe's #1 in the year 2000, Lee Westwood.
Forget just how much he's achieved to come back to where he is in the world now, Lee Westwood, because he was outside the top 200, now 20th in the world. And here is the man whose reign as #1 he ended in 2000, Colin Montgomery. He hit his drive just about to where Westwood was, so he had a shot at the green, but couldn't find it. Up and down though for a birdie. Down he says, down he says. Still holeable, still the 18th to come, and Monty would be in red figures, but this is the man making the most of this afternoon.
Yeah, and giving himself birdie opportunities on every green, but this one's going to break quite a bit from the left. Not the easiest one to read, and this will get him to 6 under, just one behind the leader.
Oh, was a good par at the 15th. That's the hardest hole on the back nine by some margin.
137 for Olafable. He's in a quandary as to whether he can get the club head up or the ball up quick enough. He's going to need very quick hands here because he's quite near the face. It's lying okay, but it's one of those shots where if you bite too much off, it could end up back at his feet.
These aren't links bunkers, but they're shallow, but he is up near the face. It's just an iron, a 3-wood, a rescue club off this tee for accuracy, which Olafable couldn't find. 3 over suddenly doesn't look too bad, so we want a strong finish. Just got it up, but where are you? Where are you? Just short. That's as far as he could get it, perhaps.
A lot of afternoon starters struggling a bit.
Justin Rose, perfect position. Same yardage just about as Olafable. His golf's better than his score at 4 over. Just a wedge in his hand to get some spin on this.
Yeah, very nice. Cabrera far enough back from the lip and easy enough for him to flip it up quickly onto the front of the green.
Oh, Monty for birdie. Oh, did better for him than he imagined. If he'd hit it, he had it. It's not been a bad round actually from Monty. After the 3rd hole, he was 3 over after 3, double bogey the 2nd, bogey the 3rd, and since then he's 3 under par, so 2 under par.
18th and JD. Need to slightly misjudging the pace. Currently 2 under par. Thailand's best golfer. Again, making the most of the back nine. 4 under for the back nine. Thongshai for a number of years was in the Thai army. Didn't take up the pro game till in his 30s. A good striker of the ball.
Not quite sure who it is to play. Is it Luke Donald or is it Anders Hansen? I think Anders he's ready to go. Got the 5-wood out. 278 yards to go to chase this one down onto the green. Needs a little bit of right to left shape here. Not always easy when the ball's below your feet. Control the angle of the club face at impact.
Player tucked behind the trees, difficult to see where the ball's gone.
Now he looks to be awkwardly up against the fringe there.
Difficult little shot, but if there's anyone who can play them, it's Ollie. He's got to watch it doesn't go past the flag, because this green looks flat, but it's not.
Crisp but short. We've seen a few players missing that putt as well.
What was a very deceptive putting surface, this 16th, together with the 17th, pin on the front left today at 16.
As I said earlier, it was a sly green, and Ken's been having a look at the challenges of it.
The greens at Wentworth are old-fashioned traditional ones with lots of little subtle breaks and borrows, always difficult to read. And I'm on the front of the 16th where the pin's cut front left today. And this is a classic spot. You just can't see anything much. It looks dead flat, but it isn't. There's always a little break there. So from front of the cup, what's this one going to do? Just a little subtle right to left. From pin high right, you can see it's a little down the hill. Ooh, almost dead straight, but is it? Is it? Down the slope we go. Ooh, what did it do? I'm not sure. You know if you hit it firm and straight you're going to make it, but it's so difficult to convince yourself of this. This is the most difficult one because there's two slopes. Subtle but small, but just enough to take the ball out of the cup. What's the line? I mean, I can't really read it. In that situation, you often hit it firm and straight and just keep your fingers crossed. Come on, son. Nope. No movement at all. So from pin high left, ooh, I want to try on this one. Downhill, I can see it's a fraction from left to right. Just enough to win the turkey. So around this pin here, very flat, but difficult to see the lines. And believe it or not, sometimes those sort of putts are more difficult than ones with the big breaks.
Now 3 out of 4 Fox Ken, it is difficult indeed. And here is Rose. Just about one of the same putts there. There you go, look at that. It's remarkable. And the players know this green is tricky. They play it often enough. And the pins are in similar positions, but it's like the electric bray. You can't see which way it's rolling.
He did the right thing though, hit it firmly, but hit it outside the cup. Yep, in. 4 over. Not a birdie on Rose's card so far. Now this one, having looked at this morning, turns a little from right to left. It's certainly not outside the cup, but if you pull it left centre, you'll miss it on his left-hand side. He's had a long look at it. I'm not sure he's convinced of the line. When in doubt, firm and straight does it. Firm, firm. Well done. Excellent putt. Two par fives to come, 17 and 18 do offer you a little something, a little sweetener at the end if you play them well.
Cabrera made his par there as well. Now Tong Chai Jaidi for a round of 70, which this afternoon is gold dust. Oh, fool's gold. It is catching. It'll be a 71. But a drop shot of the last, which usually yields birdies.
Playing with Rory McIlroy. And that's a 74 for him, but a 6-5 finish, so a slightly disappointing finish for him. There's a look at his card. A man with a lot of promise, not Eastern promise, but Western promise. 71, one of the very few players of the afternoon starters that's broken par, playing with Barry Lane round in 76.
A group of Lee Westwood, Luke Donald and Anders Hansen. All three look to be in pretty good position off the tee. Westwood, if you're wondering, if you just joined us, double bogey the 15th, double bogey the 16th, 6 over par now. Much to ponder. Anders Hansen, defending champion, 3 over par, and he's up next.
Well, Anders a little bit unfortunate with his pitch shot there. Played it to release coming out of the left-hand rough, but it didn't. It grabbed in second bounce, so an outside chance of a birdie 4 here for him. Quite quick toward the back left-hand side of the screen. May just ease to the right as it gets to the hole.
The umpire signals a wide. It's been a similar tale for most of the players this afternoon. Talk about horses for courses and how certain players like this course. Anders Hansen, his form here belies his form around the world. He's a good player, but here he has been a great player on a couple of occasions.
Robert Karlsson playing without any doubt the best round of the afternoon, and Phil Parkin's out with him. Impressive stuff.
It has been very impressive. He just let one just leak a little bit to the right and found a terrible lie. Really isn't a good lie at all, but fortunately only 138 yards to go, so shouldn't have any trouble chopping this one out and getting it hopefully up by the flag.
Watch it go. Watch it bounce. Watch it roll.
How good was that bounce? He doesn't want to play that one again.
Fantastic result from there.
He did play it very well.
A couple of yards shorter in the sand. But no, very good. Another birdie chance. Another chance to get to 6 under par.
Now, opportunity to bring a smile to your face. Eagle chance for Lee Westwood. Huge draw. It's bobbled straight right on him, and it's wandering back. It's got a mind of their own this afternoon, the greens, I think.
You can really turn your round around on the last 2 holes, though. It's a birdie for Westwood. He's 5 over. Richard Sterney in the group in front was 6 over coming into this hole, eagled it. Get back to 4, and then something magical can happen at the last as well, and suddenly things are fine. Luke Donald to get back to level par, which he does. I feel like a 72 this afternoon, Ken, is a bad round of golf, looking at the scoring.
No doubt about it. Yeah, anything round about par. Most of these rounds were completed earlier on in the day when there was not much breeze about. Greens a little softer and truer. 65 from Paul McGinley. The afternoon starters, Robert Karlsson. That really is a stellar round at 5 under par with 3 left to play. Oliver Wilson and Gregory Havery also a couple under par. 70s for McDowell and David Howell. All these rounds were completed earlier in the day, so a big advantage for the morning starters. If anyone's watching, they'll know that tomorrow afternoon they'll have the more difficult conditions.
You know, the weather forecast is similar, so Oliver Wilson Played with him yesterday in the Pro-Am. He's not too scarred by the experience and going very nicely. 2 under par, and that is a good score this afternoon. Oh, and he'll have a chance to go to 3. Another one of the English players now. Talk about tennis players and how excited you get if there's any British players in the top 100. There are so many now. British players or English players in the top 100 in golf. Oliver Wilson's 75th in the world. Great strength and depth in the game now. Graham Storm, another player who broken into the majors.
He's seen it all though. I've been coming here for more years than you care to remember. Who's it? Oh, I'm one of the last people to smoke as well. Now I've got a Ronson lighter.
White trousers.
All 3 of them. Oh, if he could cast his net now, eh? Get the remaining last 3 in the world. I'm 104 and I've smoked 20 fags a day all my life. Half a bottle of scotch. Never done me any harm. Mind you, I'm only 27.
And his 500th tour appearance, Paul Broadhurst, to finish with a flourish. For level par.
Yes, well done. I remember watching him playing this Ryder Cup at the Belfry all those years. Or was it Kiwa Island? One of them. He did play well. So he reversed Ken. He had a bit messy on occasion on the first 9, but finished 4-4, turned it around. Good playing.
Good drive for Olatharbel in a couple of respects. 1, he's only 18 yards behind his other playing partners, and 2, he's down the right-hand side at the perfect angle. Just gone into the first cut of rough, but he can get enough club on it. If he hits it straight, he can chase it down there. Good chance to reach the green in 2 on this par 5.
It was a good bounce. Oh, sort of kicked up the hill. But okay. Sometimes coming out that light rough, you can get the ball to really run with the wood if you get the right contact.
Well, I know you're trying desperately hard, Ken, to find a reason why the scoring has got so much worse this afternoon, but for the life of me, I can't see it. It's all very well to talk. The greens have grown a little bit. Stenson chips in there. That's better. That's the first bit of excitement we've had since, well, since the old king passed away. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, Kenneth. There's a lot of 71s, mind you. There's still quite a number under the par of 72, but which tells us what the qualifying score is going to be, about 145, 146, somewhere around about there, possibly.
Playing with Stenson. Karlsson, Stenson back to level par. But Karlsson to move within 1 of McGinley. Another lovely roll. You can eke 1 birdie out of the remaining 2 holes, the 2 par 5s.
Well, with his length, it all depends on his drive at the 17th. Here's a mighty hitter.
Well, it's not normal. 610 yards going with an iron, second shot on this par 5. But he's launched it just right of the green, though. It's going to fall down to the right.
Well, he would have made it easily, John, if it had been straight, but yeah. Oh, I don't think he cared for that. Take that away and burn it.
.266 for Rose, he said to me as he walked down the fairway. I've kept up with the big man, meaning Cabrera. Perfect tee shot he hit, just an iron as well for Rose, but he's missed this to the right as well. He's followed Cabrera.
Knew as soon as he struck it, it was leaking right. Always a little tricky. Ball below your feet, and you're just trying to draw it a fraction. Perfect lines on the TV tower. All looks pretty good there, but just gets stuck a little bit on the back foot, and the ball starts dead right. But I think if you're one of these players that has a lot of instruction, you're a bit technical. Sometimes when your game goes off, there's no way of sort of regaining it during your round.
Well, I remember doing a piece with Jack Nicklaus years ago, and he said one thing he learned, and he was not a great one for going for hours and hours, so he had one man he used to go to for tuition. So I learned to fix myself, little tweaks here and there. It's very important.
Oliver Wilson, well, it was his third shot into the 15th, so this to remain 2 under. Break from right to left, not that much. It was bounced off the putter. So he will slip back to 1 under.
Since he joined the tour after playing in the Walker Cup matches, he really seems to have grown in stature with his strength. He's pretty long these days. When he came on the tour, Oliver Wilson, he was a fairly shortish hitter.
Robert Karlsson's tee shot on the 17th. Not an easy fairway to hit. Dogleg right to left, fairway slopes left to right. And it's very intimidating from this elevated tee.
Yeah, this is a big tilt on this fairway. From left to right.
Started middle right. Is it turning left or is it going right? Going right. Will it hold? Not bad into the thick stuff. Yeah. Should be able to get that to the top of the hill, so left with a short pitch or short iron into the green. But it is a hard driving hole.
Now, if ever there's a hole designed for Colin Montgomery, it's the 18th. Par 5. Left to right. And a hearty lash. Oh, no. Left to right and right and right and right. Knock off the tree into the sand. A long bunker shot from Monty. Could have been worse. Divot, he says. That was...
Well, Thibault, very unlucky with his second shot here at 17. Just kicked left, and I was chatting to his caddy, Martin. He said, well, you can tell him I'm not doing. Just short of the green, fluffy lie. He pitches about 18 feet short of the hole. The overspin should carry it down.
Pretty well played. Maybe the ball just popped up in the air a fraction higher than he would have liked or anticipated.
Got to aim at the bunkers down the left-hand side and slide it to the right.
Too much. It's deep down there. You can actually see shades of the ball there. That's his wife he's almost hit. Down the right-hand side there.
Very tangly, rough, and like Colin Montgomery, ball coming out a little quick. The ball settled down as a dig for it. We'll have that outside chance for a birdie at 17. Just slipped out of the world's top 10, world rank number 11, Justin Rose. Similar thing, a little bit more stop on it, but might learn a little bit from Justin Rose's putt.
Up to the 18th, Colin Montgomery with a horridly difficult shot here. Third shot on the par 5. Could be. It slowed up.
Well, Lee's going with the driver again. I'm not sure whether this is the right club. He's been hitting some huge tee shots today.
Giving himself all the space of the tee to try and fire it round the corner.
Not impossible to hit it in the ditch. I know he's okay, but a little bit to the right of that. Now going down the fairway, you can run it into the little stream that runs across the fairway. It's a long way out.
Yeah, big drive, but he didn't gain anything with that big drive. I doubt whether he'll be able to reach the green in two. Ollie now for a 4 at the 70. Have another look at Luke Donald. 3 off the tee. I'm sorry if I sound puzzled, but here's one of the straightest drivers, neatest players in the game of golf at the moment, and he's playing 3 off the 18th tee. And that don't look too good either.
I'm not sure why he's reloading there either, Peter, because we saw his ball landing down the right-hand side in the rough. Just keep opening up there. That's where he landed, down there. So he obviously hasn't been told by a marshal that his ball is fine. It very nearly hit his wife. She's departed the scene. Diane. Yeah, the ball's there.
Where's his dear wife?
Oh, she's gone now.
She's got scuttled into the woods. Well, are we, from their attitude, are we surmising that the ball is on the... Oh, here's his first one, flying over the corner. Oh, bang, crash, wallop. Oh, there's his good lady. Oh, he's all right. Well, what? He must have thought it's in the bushes. Must have thought he was way in the trees. That's when my Ryder Cup opponent in 1953 drove it in there, and I thought, oh, I've got him now. And he got a 5 and I took 6, and we lost the Ryder Cup. Never recovered.
Justin. Oh. He thought he had it. I think the people around the green thought he had it, but he didn't have it. Four over par, not one single birdie on the card.
Colin Montgomery at the 18th. How could he hole the monster? It'll come from his right to left. Turn, you're too wide, Monty, you're too wide.
One over par 58th at the moment. Like 58th, so sort of mid-table respectability. Slightly better than that. A larger field. Now Cabrera on the 17th to get back to 2 over. Well, these players are not ruling themselves out now, considering the way things have swung around this afternoon. Everybody seems to be struggling, so not losing too much ground if things are just as difficult for the morning starters when they play in the afternoon tomorrow. There you go, everything's fine. Everything's fine for Luke on the 18th.
As it's turned out, with the scoring, so many scores now between 73 and 76, and that's another one missed. Nicholas Fast, and he rips it 4 feet by. I think it'll be a decent round tomorrow. They will be able to play there, because there aren't all that many under 70. Oh, the next saviour will be born of man. Someone said that a long time ago. Not quite sure what it means, man. There's a bogey for Fast.
What a grim looking back nine. Back in 43, 77, out in 34. Look at that run of bogeys and double bogeys.
I don't think, I mean, that's unbelievable, isn't it, for a man of his quality and calibre? Looks like the telephone code for some Caribbean island.
Now, come on, Colin. It's been a good comeback. You had in 38. It's still. Ooh, well done. Nicely done, Colin. 73.
You don't often see Montgomery smiling after a round of 1 over around Wentworth, but I think he knows, he's well aware that the scoring this afternoon has been very poor, and he's grafted hard today and has not blown himself out of contention.
No, and a reasonably early start tomorrow, Andrew, and with a sort of 70 or better, and he won't be a million miles away for the weekend's play.
Well, Luke's found a nice lie on the right-hand side there, where all the crowd have trampled along rough down. So he's just going to hit a mid-iron, lay up short of the green, leave himself somewhere in the region of 120 yards for his third shot.
And the first thing there to do is find the fairway, and he hasn't done that. Just lose that control for the third shot, just in the second cut there, which is not the most severe, and plenty of green to play with. The pin isn't tucked over the front left bunker. It's been that kind of day. Level par, Luke Donald.
Karlsson at the 17th, his second. Looking a little anxious. It's quite a long way back. Last 3 starts, Robert Karlsson on the European Tours, finishing the top 5. He had a marvellous round in Italy. I think he went round in 61.
Anders Hansen 300 yards just short of off the tee. 250 to go. He's got a 3-wood here.
The defending champion has hit a beauty onto the green, and it just needed one more hop. Good shot.
Massive drive from Westwood, but into the trouble. That was thickety thick. Get in the trap, he says. Don't think he really meant it. Said some hurtful things. He didn't mean it. It's been a hard day for Lee Westwood. 15 and 16 doing the damage, double bogeys at both.
There's a little stream that if you really get hold of them, as fast as the fairways are running, you get the right line, you can run it in there.
I thought Lee was about to hurl himself in, but it's not that bad. Karlsson on the 17th.
Robert Karlsson, yeah, he's found a brilliant lie here in the rough. But I still think the ball's going to release, and with a hole location at the back of the green, he'll have to land this one sort of middle of the green and just let it release the last 15-20 feet to the hole.
This is great. Oh. But quick at the back of the green and hopping on. Very holeable coming back though. Yeah, nearly bounced. Not quite full toss, but on the 4th, oh, could easily have dropped.
Well, I'm nicely tucked down the left-hand side of 18. Just watched Cabrera hit a wonderful cut off this 18th tee, and he's taken really the 2 bunkers up the left out of play, and he can certainly reach. But for Ola Tharbal, this is not his favourite tee shot, the left to righter, because he tends to smother them when he goes for this left to right. Anyway, he's got the driver. Breeze into off the left.
Look how low he tees the ball, Tharbal. Trying to avoid that hook with a low tee, but they can just bury themselves down there, and suddenly you might even be struggling to clear the burn in the 20 or 30 yards of scraggy rough beyond that to get up to the second bit of fairway.
Ola Tharbal, who's Nick Faldo's vice captain, come the Ryder Cups matches this September at Valhalla. Yes, of course, he makes the team. Still not impossible.
So he wants to be considered only as a player at the moment. Westwood now. This could roll. Oh, that's cruel. Well, probably would have finished about the same distance away. And whichever of his partners that was, they should replace their ball.
Yes, replace as near as possible. They had a bit of a few witnesses who say no, it was a bit further back than that, or a bit closer.
Well, unfortunately, Justin Rose is having to reload here at 18, 3 off the tee. He's hit it so far right, I don't think Lassie would find it. Ideally, anywhere between the trees now is good, and he's gone the other way up the left.
Well, I don't know. That's the end of that. Thank God we've got some emails to keep us company on this dull afternoon. David Duval. Jim Schrank wants to know, for Heaton Park Golf Club, what happened to David Duval? Well, he's battling away in America. Jim's still trying to get it back on track. Where's Constantino Rock? Asked David Bennett. On the senior tour, European senior tour. What about this new presentation, the idea of trimming the fairways? Do we like it? Well, it's presentation. That's from John Moore in Germany.
Even though Robert Karlsson's had a lot of trouble on the 17th, he has this for a birdie, this to get to 6 under, and only 1 behind Paul McGinley.
Interesting decision though, Philip, just chipping it.
Yeah, it's definitely makeable.
Ooh, what a good little shot. That'll be a par 5. Alex Campbell, the Artisan captain, the captain of the Artisans Club at Arbroath. That's just north of Carnoustie. They've got a big day up there on the 14th and 15th of June. Artisan Club, we were talking about those earlier. 2 going strong. Now, long putt here for Hansen. Will he get this right? The big swing early on, and then it sort of stays up there. That could be better. If it's not too hard. Just a little too hard. Not easy to get close from long range on this 18th. Good opening day for spectator-wise. We've had a good crowd come in. The weather's temperatures have been nice. Been shirt sleeve order for all day.
I've seen quite a few players, as you're mentioning there, Peter, missing this one to the right. McDonald here in 3 for birdie, and he missed it low. So McDonald should finish level par.
It's been a battle though, Andrew, hasn't it, for him? I mean, he's appeared at times to be taking a lot more than that, sort of 75, 76. He's credit to him for keeping going. He hasn't thrown the towel in. Well, that's the way he plays. He's gives it his best effort every time. Finishes in 72. That won't be a bad score. Level par.
Well, it's certainly been a frustrating day watching the lack of birdies out here, but more frustrating for these players who are trying so hard and it's just not going for them. Anders Hansen, 2 great shots onto this 18th. Now, come on, Anders, for goodness sake, pop this one in for a birdie. Make you feel a little better for tomorrow's round.
A little bit bouncy as well.
Yeah. I mean, these ordinary sort of grass, this is just grass. There's nothing sort of spectacular. A lot of courses in America have this ordinary sort of ordinary grasses, and they do tend to seed and they get a little bit uneven. But that's why the early starters possibly have the best time of it.
Very lucky Justin Rose. Came spat out to the edge of the trees, but unfortunately he's had a penalty drop, so he's playing 3 from here, but he's still in the rough.
Well, again, here's a fellow that's had a frustrating day. He's hit some huge tee shots, some beautiful iron shots, 2 wayward tee shots, couple of double bogeys, nothing going in with a putter. But can he close with a birdie 4? It was my tip for the win as well.
That was a
Oops.
tweak. Yeah. the curse of Paul Eales, but that would have been a little turnaround with a birdie at 17 and a birdie at 18. 4 over par would have been an ugly score, but not necessarily the tournament killing score. 77 though. Something special required tomorrow. Donald in for his par, in for his level par round, which in comparison with his playing partner seems sparkling. 3 birdies, 3 bogeys, 4 birdies, 4 bogeys.
A couple of sixes, they're the killers. The 4th and the 12th, there's fairly simple holes at the par 5s. Otherwise, it was a good, neat, tidy round, really. You're going to drop an odd stroke here and there on this course. 72 afternoon start today, reasonably satisfying.
Justin Rose, 3rd shot, 18th.
Trying to cut it out of the trees and get it into position. He's had a good shot. He did clip the trees, but this is fine.
He's done well just into the light carpet down the left-hand side. But he too, 4 over par. Everybody, Cabrera, Rose, Olazabal, Westwood, Monty, struggling. Some just relaxing.
Now, under that hat must be a character. He just must be a character, him. Yeah, let's have a look, my son. Yeah. Little nasal hair, we could perhaps trim that just to smarten him up a bit.
There's a hint of aging hippie rebellion.
Absolutely right. Cabrera launches one away, recoils, and has hit a gem.
Just one more hole to go for Robert Karlsson. The 18th hole, 538 yards, so definitely reachable in 2 if you hit the fairway. If you go too far left, there's some rough there, and of course if you go through the fairway, there's a few bunkers waiting for the ball. There's about 300 yards off the tee. If you overcut it, there's a bunker over there as well. You've got to be very accurate.
Got to wait for the spectators to cross in front as well.
The bunker on the right, just about 300 yards to reach it. In fact, the one on the left's not far off the same. But by taking a 3-wood, you might just be hitting to the corner of the dogleg. I suppose the left trap just about in range.
You don't see it low cutters being played these days, though, Ken, do you? With the old thing, I mean, we see Olazabal tee it low, drive it down the left to the 30-foot high and a runner. Get some distance with the roll, not carry on occasion. I hardly ever see it now. Tiger has his stingers. Steady, he's okay.
That's the advantage of the 3-wood. You can just hit it to the corner there. These modern clubs, these metal woods, are quite difficult to sort of rip low and hard. The ball wants to pop up in the air the whole time.
Well, both Rose and Ollie, Olazabal that is, a similar distance, about 4 yards in it. 120 odd to the flag, but as the breeze is into, ideally you want to knock this shot down and get the ball slowing down as it bounces. Just discussing with Martin, his caddy on the left-hand side. He's on the fairway and it's good lie, but they've struggled, these boys, this afternoon.
It's like a little pitching wedge. Still a bit concerned about the breeze, John.
Yeah, well, the flags at the back of the green on the stand are really blowing. But of course the green's protected by the stand, so it's a bit confusing. Depends what height he wants to fly it in, Ken.
Tends to drill these in quite low, or lower than most players, and they skid a couple of times and stop. He plays them back in his stance.
Very firmly clipped Really zips into it. Got to have a receptive green, but that was all in the strike there. Absolutely perfect to get the maximum amount of spin. It worked out well for him.
Well, Justin Rose saw how Olathable's ball A flew and B reacted, so he is just coming out the slight semi on the left-hand side. Might make the contact a little bit different, and the breeze has fluffed up a bit more now. Fourth shot for Justin.
It's been a bit of an adventurous day for Justin Rose today. Johnny?
It's been a bit like the generation game. He's shown what to do, but nobody could produce it on the day, Ken.
I thought you were going to say Britain has talent, and Simon Cowell commentating on this would make you bring a tear to your eye, I reckon. It's been one of the strangest days it's ever been my pleasure, misfortune, call it whatever you want to see in professional golf, because we're watching some of the finest players from around the world. And certainly since we've been on the air live at 2:30, 3 o'clock, we've hardly seen any decent play at all. And to the trained and untrained eye, there doesn't appear to be any reason for it. There'll be lots of excuses made when they come in. What happened, what happened, what happened? But the plain facts are they haven't played very well. And I think of someone like Neil Coles, who was the master around this place, kept the ball low, used to play along the ground rather than through the air. Perhaps that's the answer. Perhaps they should learn how to play different conditions. I don't know, but it's been a strange, interesting day.
A few decent scores a little bit further out onto the course, and you can check them out alphabetically going through the bottom of the screen. Oliver Wilson's got back to 2 under par with just a couple of holes remaining. Gregory Havre, the Frenchman, is also 2 under with 5 to go. SSP Chaurasia, the Indian Open champion, 2 under par as well. He's eagled the 12th. So there are a few more scores in the dog days of the first round, but largely speaking, the afternoon has been horrible. A lot of players, a lot of big names grafting, trying to hang on and not rule themselves out of contention.
Go on, Justin, just up the right side. Finished in a blaze of glory. Drove into the trees, had a penalty shot. Penalty drop. This for a par 5. Could be. Could be. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. For those of you not familiar with golf but other sports, it's like watching Premier football clubs having a dull, goalless draw, or the great snooker players not getting breaks of more than 20 or 30. It's been one of those days.
Not a birdie on the card for Rose, rounding 76.
Years of experience here, Ken. The older Kubra hat. Watching Cabrera. Now this would be a finish in a blaze of glory. Knock this in for a 3. Get back to level par, and it's not a million miles away. Love the way he prowls around. 4 to finish. 73.
He was 5 over after his opening 5 holes, bogeyed all of them, so 73. Nay bad.
He'll fancy his chances now tomorrow, making hay while the greens are smooth.
Well, I think, thank goodness they haven't had a lot of work to do today. We haven't heard of anybody being injured, slipped over, hit with golf balls or anything like that, so that's been a good day from that point of view. Now, if this would be some 4.
Well, a bit more pace, and what a funny old day. 75 for Jose Maria back in 36, 1 under. Cabrera 73, 76 for Rose, and 75 for Ola Tharbel.
Strange. It's been, I mean, they're beautiful players, wonderful players, talented. But for whatever reason, it's been hard work. But we'll be here tomorrow, and hopefully the sun will shine again and the azaleas will still be with us, although the old roadies are dying. But we'll flutter on and hope for bigger and better and nicer things. Bye.
Well, Mr. Alliss has not been terribly impressed with the standard of the golf we've seen this afternoon. Peter's not happy, but Paul certainly is. A terrific round of golf from our long-time leader, Paul McGinley, has 65, a course record on this new layout, 7 under par. Let's hear what he had to say about it.
Yeah, I played really nicely. It's funny, you know, when you're playing, you're caught up in what you're doing. It's only when I look at the card now. A lot of good 2-putts from 40 feet as well too, which is always good. And yeah, no bogeys. You know, it's great. With no bogeys and you birdie all the par 5s, you should have a good day. 14 was about a 20-footer there across the hill, and 17 was good. That's always tough to hold a putt in that 7 on the green because it undulates and it's always hard to get a good read on it too. So I was obviously thrilled, and I really love the golf course. And the first time I've seen it, I've always loved it. There's something special about it. It's our sort of Augusta. When I got here as a first time as an amateur, or first time as a pro, you know, you wanted to get onto the last 4 or 5 holes because you've seen them on TV, just like you do in Augusta. So it's a special golf course, special place.
There's a couple of loose ends to tidy up. This is Vijay Singh's replacement, Peter Whiteford. Young man from Fife. And oh dear, oh. Right.
Well, he wishes Vijay was still in the field.
Cries of 4 were not loud.
No, it's gone out of fashion, rather like letting people through if you're playing slowly. Important shot. One good, clean, straight hit here, Mr. Karlsson, and 2 putts or 1.
Still 272 yards to go, 240 to the front edge. Should be able to land it on the front of the green and hopefully work its way back to the hole location. Awkward stance though.
Clambered over the bunkers. That little area there, there's some very thick rough, that little hollow.
Yeah, it played really well. Just drove it well, hit plenty of greens and made a few putts along the way, and just a bit scrappy down the last. But other than that, overall, pretty happy. It was a pretty clean game of golf.
You did have an awesome run there, starting on the 11th. You were 5 under for a stretch of just 4 holes. You were on fire.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, birdied 11, eagle 12, birdie 13, birdie 14. It didn't seem like it's going to stop.
How would you describe the last couple of months?
Well, hell, really. It's not been too good, no. Yeah, a lot of the game hasn't been good the last few months. Hopefully this is the start of the rest of the season.
Well, they were some of the early challenges. All the decent play really has been this morning, with the obvious exception of Robert Karlsson, who has that little up and down for a 66 and to get within 1 of Paul McGinley. Marcus Fraser in with a 67. Schwartzel and Gary Houston we just saw interviewed there on 4 under par, alongside Daniel Vanchik from another Argentinian, Mark Warren, 69 at 3 under par. Winner 2 years ago, David Howell, 2 under par. Graham McDowell, who's had a decent season, also on 2 under par. Gregory Avray going well out on the course, as is Oliver Wilson. Paul Casey on 1 under par. But it's Paul McGinley that has been our long-time leader, and he'll go into the second round. Our coverage starts at 1:25 on BBC Two. Until then, a very good bye.